footage. What's up, good people? I'm going live here. I haven't set up my laptop yet to go live from the laptop like my other half. I'm gonna get it set up, Tim. I'm slacking to go ahead and go live from with the GrayScale logo on the screen and stuff like that. All advertisement is good advertisement. Mainly just advertising to get listeners, get people talking, get people discussing what's going on out here, and just getting information out to the people in one of the most formidable ways nowadays, via the podcast. Anyhow, what's happening, good people? Welcome to the Revelations of Ray tonight. 8 o'clock already. Tonight we're going to talk about never quitting on yourself. But before we do that, I went ahead and followed suit with my boy Tim. Shout out to Tim for voting. We both went and wasted our vote. So yeah, I went and voted for the first time today. And it's crazy because I felt like a little giddy kid for whatever reason. Like, I got to the place and not a whole bunch of people there. I mean, not too many people in the area I live in anyway. I don't even think it would have been that crowded on November 3rd. But maybe, who knows. But anyway, got out early and voted. Felt good about doing it. Had my name already registered in the computer screen. So felt like, whatever, wasted, not wasted. Felt good to participate and do my part. So to everybody out there that is eligible, go ahead and vote. There's some things on the ballot that were interesting, to me. And when people talk about things getting passed and let's take the legalization of marijuana for example. These things are on the ballot. These little add-ons and slip-ins are on the ballot. So if you're advocating for certain things to be passed and you're not registered to vote, or for certain things not to be passed, there are people that are pushing for this stuff to get on the ballot, and as they're going and casting their vote, they're voting for these things. Another interesting thing that was on the ballot was the minimum wage. Whether minimum wage should be raised from where it stands now, which I think was like $7.50. I'd have to go get my sample ballot, to getting raised all the way up to $15. Now, me personally, I feel some type of way about raising minimum wage up to $15. The thing about it is, sure, that would give people a living wage. People are living now, you would say that would give them a better living wage. But if minimum wage goes up, here's my thing: if minimum wage goes up to $15 an hour, then Bobby over here, who started at $9-10 an hour, but worked his way up to $15 an hour or whatever, through doing good work, working hard, getting promoted, busting his ass or whatnot. He worked for that raise, for that $15 an hour, proved his worth. Now you're going to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour, which means Bobby, who worked his ass off, is still going to want more money than Timmy, who's a lazy sack of shit and is getting what he deserves, because he wants to keep complaining about the man want him to do this, the man want him to do that. I hear you, and we all can only put up with what we can put up with. But if you're not willing to, do the best at your job while you're there, then that's on you, But anyway, so Bobby, once he sees Timmy bumped up to the same $15 he bumped up at, well, shit, Bobby gonna go to the manager and say, well, I need $18. I need $20 an hour, and I really see an issue popping up for small business owners. And small business owners employ half of America. You know, as you going up and down these streets, these especially here in Panama City, these restaurants, a lot of local restaurants, a lot of local landscaping businesses. You just got a lot of small businesses that put a lot of people to work, and these small business owners, you know, after all their expenses and employee fees are all said and done, you know, some of these people might be barely bringing in 70K, 80K a year, just to be doing what their skill set allows them to do, and something that they love to do. But after all said and done, yeah, they might be making, you know, a couple $100,000 as a business as a whole. But after they pay their employees and, you know, all their fees and expenses, their take home's probably about, you know, $60,000-$70,000. People like, oh, that ain't much. But when you your own business owner, you can set your own hours, do your own thing. Shit, $75,000 a year take home after all expenses paid. You living the dream. You living the good life. You know, for a lot of people, you buy you a house, get you a little mortgage. You know what I'm saying? You ain't spending too much money on your property, depending on how you're living. You living the good life. So, to have to force people like that, in my opinion, is really gonna hurt a lot of small business owners. You know, people like Walmart, places like Walmart, these big chain stores, they're not gonna be affected. You know, they already prepping for what's to come with this push towards raising the minimum wage. You know, Walmart already got robots going around taking shelf counts, letting you know what's needed back on the shelf, already doing the pickup orders. You know, they've got self-checkout lanes out the ass. You know, you don't really need a cashier anymore at Walmart. I mean, damn near half the front line is self-checkout. Dollar General putting in self-checkouts. CVS putting in self-checkout. So, you know, it's only a matter of time before all these places have self-counters to where you don't even need that many employees anyway. So if they go to raising this minimum wage up to $15 an hour, thinking, oh, Walmart need to pay up. These big companies need to pay up. No. Walmart gonna lay a bunch of people off. That's what Walmart gonna do. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, no knock on them, but a lot of Walmart employees, you know, working on work visas, things like that, depending on what part of the country you in. So they just keep rotating them around. Shit, I don't know if $15 minimum wage, you know, I guess that accounts for all workers, whether you're a U.S. citizen or not. But you got to think everything's gonna go up. I think the better option, and not to mention, you know, when you give people more money that aren't already utilizing their money properly, they're just gonna misappropriate the money that you're giving them at $15 an hour. I mean, you can walk in the store right now, you see it all the time, especially in a lot of these low income areas. It's people standing in the line with their checks, playing lottery all damn day. Playing lottery all day. Buying cigarettes. If you smoke Newport's like $12. And these people going through a pack and a half, some of them 2 packs a day. So you spend it, think about it. If you go through a pack and a half a day, so every 2 days you smoking, or every 3 days you smoking 2 packs of cigarettes. No, 3 packs of cigarettes. Pack and a half, yeah, 3 packs of cigarettes every 2 days, right? So it's only 7 days in a week. You know, you just say 6 days, you done smoke 9 packs of cigarettes or whatever the hell at $10 a pop. You feel me? Newport's damn near $10. You spending $90 a week smoking squares. Now, mind you, Newports and Cools are marketed to black folks. Black folks smoke Newports and Cools. You know, a lot of white folks out here smoking Marlboro Man and shit like that for about $4, $5. But even still, even though it's half the price, you still got to understand you spending about $45 a week on cigarettes. $180 a month. Your check ain't nothing but about $450. $450 every 2 weeks. So say out of $900, you spending $200 on cigarettes. What you think you gonna do when they give you $15? You gonna be buying cartons, thinking you saving some money. But like most people know, anytime you buying something, if you got it in the house, you gonna use it. You know what I'm saying? You gonna grab one, you're gonna be smoking more cigarettes. You know, and who's benefiting off of it? The government. Because the government gonna take more money out of the employees' pockets. And then on top of that, the employers gotta match what the employees getting. The government gonna be taking more money from the employer, making their pockets a lot fatter, you know. And then when all these people start getting laid off, and now the small business owner got to go work at his own business again because he can't afford, or she can't afford to employ anybody, the government gonna then turn and ask those people for more taxes, because we got to dish out more food stamps and welfare for all the people that got laid off because small business owners couldn't afford $15 an hour. That's my take on it, on voting. But anyway, that's not the gist of tonight's revelation. It's really about never giving up on yourself. I'm already 10 minutes in talking about this ballot stuff. Look, the ballot of the bullet, you know. But I've been dipping back into the word. I was slacking a little bit, getting back into it. And you know, I was just reading a story on Joseph, son of Jacob. And you know, for those not familiar with the story, with the Bible story, you know, Joseph was sold into slavery to the Egyptians by his brothers, who just suspected that he'd be used and abused and eventually killed. So his own brother sold him into slavery due to jealousy and envy. You know, that Joseph had that it factor, which in the end, you know, it proved that he did. So a tragic, you know, situation happened to Joseph, where, you know, his own bloodline gave up on him, you know, and did him dirty. So, you know, that put him in a messed up place mentally. You know, obviously with anybody, you know, you got foster kids out here, you know, people, mothers and fathers leaving their children to fend for themselves and or allowing others to raise their children. You know, I can't see how you do it, having children of my own now. But anyway, so Joseph goes on to become the right-hand man of the Pharaoh, pretty much. You know, he helped the Pharaoh deal with the famine that was going on in Egypt at the time, you know, showing his hard work and dedication and wisdom. And the Pharaoh ends up making Joseph the prime minister, you know. And, you know, long story short, Joseph's brothers in the land of Canaan, I believe, and if I'm recalling it right, but anyway, they start experiencing a famine of their own, in their land. So their father Jacob sent them off to the land of Egypt to get some grain and things like that to bring back to their people so that they could eat. They hadn't seen their brother in years. You know, they sold him when he was young. So you know, they end up going to Egypt to buy this grain and whatnot with their money. Lo and behold, it's Joseph who they confront. But now it's Joseph the High and Mighty, you know, and they didn't realize who he was because he was so different. And I don't take it, you know, I don't take it literally as they didn't necessarily recognize his face all the way, but didn't recognize his aura. You know what I'm saying? They didn't recognize you know, someone who they thought was a little pipsqueak could have such aura and royalty about him. So, you know, in terms of they didn't recognize who Joseph was. You know, they didn't recognize him because he was totally different from the Joseph that they remember, not necessarily in appearance, but in presence. So anyway, goes on to talk about how instead of condemning them and judging them for what they did to him, Joseph forgave them, gave them the food that they needed, gave them their money back as well, and had them do some things to prove that they were thus now honorable man, which he wanted them to bring their youngest brother back and things like that. And it talks about how Joseph had to go into a room to shed some tears because he was so overwhelmed by the situation and confronting his brothers and being in the position that he was in through the grace of God, although his own flesh and blood had given up on him. I say all that and rehash that story to say, regardless of what your situation is, where you come from in life, there's probably some people that have given up on you, turned their back on you. You're probably giving your love to somebody, if you're a woman and or a man that did you wrong. I just saw one of my friends post the other day that he came home from lunch just to find out his wife was cheating on him. Terrible situation. Things like this happens for whatever reason. My best thing is to always look in the mirror and check yourself first and understand what it is potentially about you that may have caused you to not see it, miss it, or whatever, but also not to look in the mirror and get all the way down on yourself, but understand that also God's got something better for you, and regardless of what that hurt or betrayal or disappointment is, you gotta stick to the script and keep on living and having faith in the plan that God's got for you, and continue to try to shine your light so that you can rebound and be as mighty as God is prepping you to be. You know what I'm saying? And you ain't talking about being the biggest star, cause it's a lot of little stars up in the sky as I stand out on the balcony. They far off in the distance, but you can still see them. They still shine, So every star has its place in the galaxy. Every human has its purpose on Earth. So never give up on yourself. Take whatever disappointment and betrayal that's happened to you and use it as fuel on the fire. And the best revenge is not cursing or condemnation, but the best revenge is prospering in one's own way. So that's really the revelation that I wanted to dish out tonight. I got to talking about the ballot, but that is touching. We'll touch up on that on another day, potentially some on the show, but that's the word for the night. Never give up on yourself, never give in. Life ain't easy, but God don't give us nothing we can't handle. So be like Joseph, and like Jesus. So on that note, I'm gonna get up out the way. It's your boy Ray. Make sure y'all check us out. GrayScale Podcast. Half of the GrayScale is going black. Deuces.